Hello, this is lesson 98, and we are going to be talking about temperature. Now, this is going to be a pretty easy lesson because there's just a couple of tips that I need you to know that'll make it easier when you are reading the thermometer. So, today, lesson 78 is temperature. Let me start off by reminding you of a number line. The number line moves horizontally. It will start with a 0 in the middle, and positive numbers go to the right, and negative numbers off to the left. Now, a thermometer is going to be the same principle, except instead of it being horizontally, it will move vertically, which means you still have your 0 and negative numbers are going to go down and positive numbers are going to go up. So that's what the thermometer is. It is a number line that just moves vertically as opposed to horizontally. Right, so here we are looking at a thermometer. Now, at this case, we would say, with this being clearly our 0, now it's important that you understand that the numbers may not always be equal to 1. In this case, it is because I can go -1, -2, -3, -4, -5, -6, -7, -8, -9, -10. So here would be -5, and up one from that would be -4. So this temperature that we are looking at right there would be -4. We would say that instead of saying -4, we would say the temperature is -4. It's just how you say it when it is being read as a temperature. Now, just so that you get an idea, that means also if we were to look at right here, and if we fill all of this in and we imagine that it is all black, all the way down, and it goes to right here. Well, can you tell me what the temperature would be? Well, you'd go 1, 2, 3, 4, so that would be 4 degrees Celsius, just like this would be -4 degrees Celsius. Our clue being right there was our Celsius scale. So just understand, you're going to have to always look at the lines though to know exactly what the value of the number is. We'll look more at that again tomorrow when we do a little practice together. Now, like I said in the last picture, every line was equal to 1. But if you look here, I go from 0 to -10. Here I go from 0 to 10. And there are not 10 lines in there. So I have to figure out how much each one is worth. Now, I'm going to take a guess and say because there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, there's 5 lines, that this is probably going to be -2, -4, -6, -8, -10. So you can kind of tell if there's going to be 5 marks, then each one is working by the 2. So this one at the same respect would be 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. So here, this would not be a -11 because we said that each line down was worth 2. So this would have to be a 8 degrees Celsius, or we would read it as minus 8 degrees Celsius. This, if we were to draw in like we did on the last one, and let's draw it into here, and imagine that we're filling it all in with black, what would that be? Well, hopefully you said, well, it's one line up, but each line is worth 2, so this would be 2 degrees Celsius. Now, as we're saying this, let me remind you, this part right here is very necessary for your label. If you don't have the degrees and whether it's Celsius or Fahrenheit, it would count wrong as having no label. Same thing with the bottom. So, first of all, make sure you're aware that lines may not always be worth just 1 degree. Second of all, make sure you put your label. And finally, whenever you're dealing with temperature, for example, the sample in the book says the highest temperature in Death Valley is 134 degrees Fahrenheit. And then it says the lowest temperature, high is going to mean hot, low is going to be cold. The lowest temperature is 15 degrees Fahrenheit. Now, whenever they want to know what is the difference between the highest and the lowest, what you will always do is subtract. Now, you're always going to just put the bigger number on top. In this case, 134 is bigger than 15. So, with the bigger number on top, then you go ahead and just do a straight out subtraction. Borrow, and I get 9. 3 minus 1 is 2. 1 minus 0 is 1. So, 129 degrees is the difference between the highest and the lowest. Now, sometimes they may say, estimate the difference. Well, that would be the same thing. Instead of using 134, I'd probably round to 135 because using 5s and 0s are easy. And instead of, I think I would just leave the 15 since I've got a 5 there. So I would say, oops, sorry about that. I would say minus 15 is 120 degrees. So there would be an estimation. Now again, I'm pretty close. By rounding, I stayed in the right area. But just know that if they're asking you the difference, you want to take the highest away from the lowest. So that is working with temperatures. It's just like working with number lines. You just have to think a little bit and realizing you're dealing with cold temperatures and hot temperatures, higher cold, higher warm, lower cold. And we will practice this together a little bit more tomorrow. Have a wonderful night.